Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome. Whether it's your first time with us or you've been with us for every episode, this is the Players Club, a podcast by the players for the people, and I'm your host, Darien Rencher. Yeah, welcome to week 11 here at the Players Club. This week we'll have my little brother, my really good friend, Will Shipley, also known as Ship Happens, on here at the Players Club podcast. And then, like always, we'll get to some of you guys' questions. But first, guys, we got to talk about what's going on in college football, especially here at Clemson. Yeah, so here at Clemson, big win for us in the purple uniforms. Like I said earlier in previous episodes, the purple uniforms are my favorite uniforms. Just like your royalty. They're all purple. And then you're playing, obviously, with the appreciation of the military. So you just feel like that game has so much more weight on it, and then you look the best you've ever had. That all purple looks incredible. It's pretty much like our little college color rush. Can't beat it. So all purple, we play UConn this week, and this was actually my most playing time of the season, actually my career, just because my man Will Shipley was out, our other running back was out, and so it was me and my guy Phil Maffa kind of carrying the load for the team this week, and we got a win. We got a big win. It was a little rough at times, but at the same time, I think we're starting to click a little more offense. Our defense, once again, didn't give up a score. They actually scored, and which is crazy. They scored on the opening kickoff. Like the very first play, UConn cribs the kickoff return 100 yards. And the dude dropped the ball. Like, it was crazy. It almost didn't even seem real. Like, all the life in the stadium just kind of got sucked out. But then people were giving us hell for it. But we faked a field goal and we scored. We needed some momentum. Hey, coach is a smart man. He knew the kickoff return kind of sucked the life out of the stadium. So what better way to get the stadium going back than to fake a field goal? And we scored on it. Hey, it worked. We were talking to him yesterday, like the senior meeting. We have the seniors. He was like, that's the second time in his entire career that he's faked a field goal. So we made history. Glad to be a part of it. Yeah, but moving on, just that was a big win for us to get some more momentum, to play a lot of guys, give a lot of guys some experience. Just a good morale win for the entire team and the program. But this week we got a big game coming up. This is my last game in the Valley. Crazy to think about. I haven't really gotten emotional yet. It's probably going to hit me somewhere Friday, but definitely Saturday we do our senior tradition. We walk down the hill pretty much by yourself. You get your own little moment up on top of the hill. You meet your parents at the bottom and take a picture of Coach Sweeney. Like, all that good stuff. Like, I'll definitely be shedding some tears. So, yeah, I will. I definitely will be. Just, it's been a great journey, man. I feel like it's been cool to live out a dream of mine since I was a kid and to see it really come to fruition. And so that'll all be kind of culminating into one gigantic emotional moment this weekend. But also, it's a big game for us because we still have hopes of making it to the AC Championship. And so there's a lot of things that got to kind of work in our favor. Coach Sweeney told us today, he was like, we're like a wounded dog. We need a little bit of help to keep us alive. The only way you can get help is if you fight to stay alive. And so this weekend, guys, that's what we're doing. We got to fight to stay alive. Because if they beat us this weekend, they pretty much win the division and they write their ticket or punch their ticket to the AC Championship. But if we win this weekend, we still need some things to work out in our favor. A couple of them in NC State. But our hopes are still alive. So this is a big weekend for us. But also, Clemson, our team, our program, we haven't lost at home in 5 years. Yeah. And just to put that in perspective, that's like the longest home win streak in the country. Like, a lot of guys will go their career and lose a couple of times at home, if not a lot at home. Like I'm actually a 6-year senior. So my last time losing was against Pittsburgh in 2016. So I haven't lost a home game since Pittsburgh in 2016. Been undefeated. And so we got a crazy stat record that we can accomplish if we win at home as a senior group going out. Like, we haven't lost at home in 5 years. So that'd be cool to kind of keep that streak going. But yeah, Wake's having a good year. They're top 10, which is crazy. Like, that Wake is coming to Clemson, the higher seeded team, the more ranked team. So it's gonna be a great weekend. It'll be really cool to finish out my game in the Valley with a big top 10 win against Wake Forest. So we'll catch up with all that next week. But coming up next, my good friend, the up and coming superstar, my boy Will Shipley. So here, my good friend, guy I spent a lot of time with the past 8 months. Got to know him really well. Definitely call him a brother now. my young dude, Will Shipley, joining the Players Club. What's good, bro?
It's good. Appreciate you having me on, D Wrench.
I know. We're just together in the bistro, and now we're here recording a podcast. So we'll get right into it, bro. I think you definitely went through one of the weirdest recruiting things you know what I'm saying, just like stages of any probably college recruit, like up until this point. Like you didn't really get to go visit any of the places you wanted to go to. How was like taking visits and deciding to come to Clemson? Like what was that process like?
Yeah, it was a tough process. Just because being recruited is something I've looked forward to ever since I had the dream of playing college football. So
Right.
to kind of get to the prime stage of being recruited and then being told, oh, you can't go on this visit, you can't get your official visits. It was tough. It was tough for my family and I, especially to make that decision because all those are primary factors in where you end up. So yeah, it was definitely a tough process and a tough decision for me because of COVID and kind of the thing that it threw in front of me.
What was it like? Were you? Because I guess you committed kind of early, but what was it like doing like all the Zoom calls? Were you a part of that? The Zoom call, like tutorials and tours. What was that process like? Just tell the people.
It was weird. Because you got a bunch of old folks,
Right.
coaches and stuff who don't really know what they're doing. So the virtual people, the technology people, they'll get them on Zoom, but then when they're doing the stuff, they don't know what they're doing. So it was always kind of a funny process with my family and I. Different schools did it different ways. But I was getting used to it as well. So it was definitely a weird process, but it got the job done.
What would it be? So you would pretty much schedule, hey, I'm doing a Zoom call at 5 o'clock when I get out of school. Like, what was that like?
Yeah, they would just text you and be like, "Hey, coaching staff would love to get you on a Zoom call. What time are you good to go?" I'd give them a time, and then I know like for Clemson, it would be I'd get on with one coach at 5 o'clock, and then Coach Elliott would come on at 5:15, and it would just kind of go on that process, and like Coach Sweeney would close it out at 6 o'clock. So
Right.
just like kind of the same thing, just sitting down in a private room, essentially, and talking with that certain coach. That's how Clemson did it in a couple of other schools. But yeah, it was weird.
Hey, well, it worked. So I'm glad you made it here, bro. Here's something interesting that I learned about you when I first met you. So everybody sees you playing on Saturdays now, doing your thing, and there's only more bright moments to come. But at one point, Will Lee Shipley, I know his middle name. All right, you are a standout lacrosse player. Can you please tell the people about being a lax bro?
Yes. So lacrosse was actually my first love. It's the sport that I started first. Something that my parents just really had got me into because I couldn't play football at that stage yet in my life. So I got into it and just picked up a stick, got pretty good at it. My brother started playing as well. So we kind of iron sharpens iron, as they say. So we both got pretty good at it. And then played all throughout high school. Really just couldn't play my senior year because of COVID, and won a couple state championships. Really, my freshman year, thought I was actually going to go to college for lacrosse.
Wow.
Till I went to my first football prospect camp day, and did pretty well. Ended up getting an offer, and I figured at that point, football was the route to go.
For sure. When is lacrosse season? I don't know anything about lacrosse besides the stick.
Yeah. So lacrosse is in the spring. It's a spring sport. So it was like right after football, really. I would end football season and go straight into lacrosse tryouts. Same way in college. My brother is actually in like a bunch of preseason stuff right now, scrimmaging a bunch of teams. So he'll be playing in the spring too.
Anything from lacrosse that you feel like made you better for football?
Yes, definitely. I hand coordination is a huge thing. Having to catch a little ball with a stick like that, and then really just conditioning, cutting, all that stuff. I think it really does directly translate to football and on the field. Just timing, setting up defenders. Just like little stuff like that translates straight over to the game of football. So I'm really glad I played lacrosse, and I think it's helped me a huge amount in kind of my success in football so far and in the future.
Bro, so here's gotta tell people a little context. So I've been around for a very long time. The people know that now. It's been there for a while. It's finally coming to an end. But throughout my Clemson experience, I've like, you kind of know which guys are coming as 5 stars. Like pretty much everybody knows their names. You kind of trying to figure out if they're legit or not, like if they're
Yeah.
live up to the hype, all that good stuff. And so when you're coming in, obviously there's a lot of hype around you, and everybody's trying to figure out is Will Shipley gonna be legit? And I remember people asking me like, "What do you think about the kid?" And like, I think he's a good kid. He works hard, bro. Where does your edge come from? Because I think that's one of the biggest things. Like, especially me and Skowski realized it early on, like in the summer. Like the dude works hard. Like a lot of guys will come in and like kind of think their potential is gonna, you know what I'm saying, just make them a great college football player, but it doesn't happen. Where does the edge that people can see the passion? Where does that come from?
Yeah, I think it's just really my competitive nature. I think it really comes from having an older brother, and I'd always play sports with him and his friends, and I'd always I get beat, I get beat on. So just getting that competitive edge throughout those years, I think it's just it kind of carried on with me, and I hate losing. So, I think just putting in the work and just all the people around me always make me better, and I want to be able to make them better too. So. It's just something I've kind of always had since a young age, and I'm really glad I have it. Kind of how my parents brought me up, I think that definitely plays a role in it too. But yeah, I think it's just the love of football too. So
Yeah, no. And then on top of that, I think for me, seeing the edge was like, this isn't a racial thing, but my man is like, all right, he's white. Let's just put it out there. And he would win every sprint, and just like, and guys from the jump were like, damn, this dude's fast. Like he's really fast. Where did that like even that those things of just mentally like because people don't know you when you're running 18 110s, it's very easy to not you know what I'm saying, to not like go hard for one sprint. Where does that come from? Like what was your mindset coming in as a freshman, as a 5 star? What did you want to prove to people?
yeah, I think I really just wanted to gain the respect of my teammates, right off the bat. That's something I came in with a goal in mind, and I knew the way to do that was to, just make people, respect me because they know that I would never let up. They know I would never, kind of conform to, being last in sprints, so people didn't look at me like, oh, he's a tryhard.
Right.
I think it just goes back to that competitive nature. I just really wanted to gain the respect of my teammates so that I could kind of step into some sort of leadership role at a young age because I feel like God blessed me with leadership qualities and I didn't want to overstep anybody because I respect everyone on this football team and seniority and all that stuff, but just coming in, I just wanted to gain the respect of my teammates. I think that's what it comes down to.
Another thing I noticed, obviously, noticed leadership qualities. I noticed the tenacious edge, just how fast the dude was, and how I feel like when people ask me, dude's legit. I also noticed a man. Hey, hopefully you get a deal one day, but I don't want to spoil for the people. But please inform the people, what is Will Shipley's signature shoe?
I knew this was coming. I knew this was coming. No, so signature shoe is the Nike Air Monarch.
Mm.
It goes way back. I got a full story about it. My dad back in 6th or 7th grade, took me out to buy a pair of shoes that that would last. That would last me. I bought them a couple sizes big, and here we are. Still wearing them to this day. So I absolutely love the Air Monarchs. They've been a great staple shoe for me, and something I'll stay loyal to for the rest of my life.
Hey, one thing about Will Shipley, dude has his confidence is here. He will rock those Air Monarchs. And look, you can't even hate on him because he's confident. He's doing his thing. But literally, when I first saw him, I was like, this dude's rocking some Monarchs and rocking them with pride. And literally, I think, how many pairs? You got one pair. Have you got a new pair yet?
Yeah, no. So I have those really old pair, and then I've gotten 2 pairs since. Two different color waves. So
Hey, well, Nike, if you ever listen to this podcast and one day I'm sure you'll get a Nike deal, Will Shipley will always be a proud Monarch fan. So there it is. All right, moving on past Nike Monarchs, and hopefully you inspire all the people out there to go get a pair of Nike Monarchs. I will not be a part of that group of people, but if you're out there, hey, get on the ship train. What do you feel like was your welcome to college moment?
oh Lord, welcome to college moment. I would probably say in the spring, and to throw in there, I would say mat drills, 100%. Mat drills, that was just kind of
Yeah,
like a slap in the face. Everybody always told me how bad they were, and I was expecting them to be bad, but really having to go through it, it was. I mean, it's
Yes,
easily one of the toughest things I've had to do. Yeah.
for sure it sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. But I would really say a tough thing for me, kind of flipping scripts was starting off spring ball. Obviously with my senior year of football being canceled because of COVID, and then the first day of spring ball was next week, and I get a call from Danny Poole. I was actually supposed to go out to dinner with D Wrench and a couple of buds that night,
Yeah.
and Danny called me and was like, "Hey, we just got your test back and it's positive." And I was just so frustrated because I feel like God was just not allowing me to play the sport that I love. I had waited for almost a year and a half to get back on the field and put some pads on. So I feel like that was really, as weird as it is, like a welcome to college moment. Like not everything is going to be perfect here, but kind of how are you going to respond to it, and how are you going to react to it? And everything has worked out fine since. But I would say that that's definitely the first thing that kind of slapped me in the face a little bit.
All right, so you've gotten a chance to play, and it has been crazy seeing you come back from you were not playing football for an entire year and a half, so finally getting to play football. And your first game back was against Georgia, which is who knew that would shake out to be the number one defense in the country, but it was. How has your freshman year been to yourself?
It has been awesome. I think it's just kind of, shows how God can work in your life, kind of how he's picked me up and, taken me to where I am today. But, it's definitely been controversial at the same time.
Right.
I've met some great people, relationships that I'll have for the rest of my life. But, in terms of this football season, it's been tough because, I came to this program, really with the expectation to, be contending for a championship every year.
Right.
And, to kind of be at the point now where we're not making the college football playoffs is tough, but it's taught me so much, and kind of to see how guys like D Wrench have responded to it. With him coming back for his 6th year, probably having the same expectation.
Right.
It's just really it's taught me a lot. As a man, not only on the game of football, but as a man, and it's taught me things that I'll be able to carry on for the rest of my life as well. So it's definitely been controversial, but I wouldn't change anything for the world. It's been awesome so far. Can't wait to see how it ends too.
That's what I'm saying. I got the same thoughts. Like I always like talk about a phrase, like especially at adverse times. Like I wouldn't choose it going forward, but then like hindsight, I wouldn't change it looking back. That's how I feel about this year, because I definitely would not choose this to be my last year. But it's seeing how things have played out, like I wouldn't change it. Like there's so many things you kind of see happening, and like I've been telling people all year, I think just it's a cool way for a lot of us that have been around and seen some great times to lead y'all through this time. It's also a good way for y'all to get a fresh perspective, because I feel like the sky's the limit, and I know people are going to doubt that. Like no matter how we finish this year, like can Clemson get back to the top? But like we're so close, and y'all are gonna get back there and like kind of have. I think y'all gonna go on a crazy run the next 2 or 3 years. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, I think we definitely got a chance. And another thing I'll kind of just add in there is sometimes I'll think like, well, what would it be like if we didn't have guys like D Wrench or Skalski that decided to come back for their 6th year and kind of have that leadership. I can't even say kind of where we would be right now without that type of leadership. That type of leadership. So we're very happy to have those guys, and just as leaders, and be able to learn from them.
Yeah, bro, we're all in it together, and hopefully, like I told people at the beginning, we can finish this thing off strong, and we'll see what happens, bro. Like we'll see. It's definitely we still got opportunity to make this thing a strong finish. What's been your favorite play so far this year?
I would definitely have to say FSU. Down, kind of got to either kick a field goal to tie it or a touchdown to win, and just broke a touchdown, and I don't know, just the adrenaline that I got from that, and just knowing that I could help my team out in a situation like that, and everyone kind of put their trust in me. Coach Elliott put his trust in me to get into the end zone. It's just one of the best feelings, probably one of the best feelings memories I'll have at Clemson. But yeah, it's definitely my favorite play so far this season.
Who do you model your game after?
I feel like when I say this, everyone's going to be like, duh. But, I'm just going to pull out and say, Christian McCaffrey. That's someone I've been watching him since he was at Stanford. And then, kind of with him being at Charlotte, it's someone that I've looked up to. use as kind of a person to model my game after, not only game, but to use as a role model. I've gotten to create a little bit of a relationship with him, and it's been awesome. But yeah, that's definitely someone I model my game after for sure.
For sure. I mean, look, you're the next coming. There aren't too many white running backs out here doing anything like that. So look, I'm all for it. Look, let's hey, y'all keep doing it, but definitely it's only right for you to mimic your game. Y'all are very similar play styles, and yeah, you're gonna carve your own path, but definitely somebody to look after for sure. So one of the cool things you talked about was just friendships. I think just it's been funny. I've had a bunch of different roommates throughout the years, but one thing I think is cool about like your story right now is the friendship you and my boy Phil Maffa have. Tell the people about Salt and Pepper and y'all's friendship. Nobody else calls me that, but that's just kind of nickname I literally just gave him, so it might stick, it might not. But go ahead.
Yeah, so me and Phil, we weren't even really supposed to room together coming in. But then, Coach Elliott texted me and was like, "Hey, you go room with Phil." I was like, "Yeah, definitely." So kind of got to know him a little bit before I got here in January with him. But then, first day we moved in together, just clicked. And ever since then, I would honestly call him my brother just because of how close we've gotten. We really do everything together. We're kind of stuck at the side. But like Rich said, we're like salt and pepper. We're
Come
like
on.
coffee and cream. I mean, you can use so many things, man. It's just that really is my brother, and someone that I'll have at my wedding. One of my best men. A brother that I'm gonna have for the rest of my life. So yeah, it's a great relationship that I've created, and truly one of the most genuine, just
No doubt.
nicest, funniest guys I've ever met too. So it's a great friend to have.
For sure. And talk about this, I think something that's interesting for people, especially younger guys that maybe listening to this is, or just anybody who's interested. But I mean, in places like Clemson, there's obviously a lot of people in a room. And think about our running back room back in the spring was 7 deep. And I think you've done a good job, and I think Phil's done a good job, and everybody's kind of stuck it out. But like, how do you manage like competition without like, you know what I'm saying? Like be like pretty much being jealous or envious, but just really like rooting for one another. Like, what has been your take on that? Because a lot of guys it's easy to go to school where it's only just you, you know? And so I think for you, I think you've handled that well. And I don't think people should shy away from competition. I feel like it makes everybody better. So what's your take on like competition and pretty much rooting for the guys beside you?
Yeah, it's definitely been tough, especially in our room. You've seen guys transfer out. You've kind of seen, just get down to four guys, me, you,
Right.
Phil, and Kobe. It's crazy, but my mindset and the thoughts of competition is, iron sharpens iron, like I said, and to be the best, you got to beat the best. I know that quote came from Tom Brady when he was in Michigan, and he was kind of asked about his position. So that's really the first thing that comes to mind. And like you said, just competing against you guys every single day has made me so much better, of a person and of a football player. That is crazy. So, coming in, I really had a different mindset about it. I was kind of like, wow, there's a lot of guys in this room. I don't know kind of how I'm gonna work my way up, get my touches, and then during the spring is when my mindset really changed, and it came down to oh, I can pick that up from him, and I can get the
Right.
little spin move from D Wrench.
Yeah.
Just little things like that. Where I can pick their game and make myself better, and hopefully they can pick up some stuff from my game and make themselves better. So I think if you're really close, like our room is, and you care about one another, then you're never going to have that jealousy of a teammate and their success. You should really just be happy for it.
It was only a matter of time before you started to make some plays. Everybody knew it was coming. But now, ship happens is a thing. Tell the people about the origin of now your slogan, your logo. Go get you a shirt if you haven't gotten a shirt yet. Go get a Ship Happens shirt. When ship happens, tell us about it.
Yeah, so funny story. After the Florida State game, I had a big game, and team came out with a huge W. But Coach Sweeney calls me. It's a 7:30 game. Coach Sweeney calls me at like 12 o'clock, and I look at my phone. I'm like, what's he calling me about? So I get on the phone with him, and he's just like, "Hey, I got a great idea for you. Hey, I'm here with one of my good friends, and she says ship happens." So he ends up calling me at 12 o'clock and telling me this story, and just kind of ran with it. got reached out by Tiger Town Graphics to, come up with a little deal and do a, shirt thing. And it ended up happening. So I'm so just, I just laugh at it because I think it's hilarious. But it's come a long way from where it started.
Right. And people say Coach Lee didn't want to see us make any money. Now he's out here giving out NIL deals. Come on,
Exactly.
man.
Exactly.
Look, come on. Man, a man of the people. But it's also funny too because when Coach Swinney gets an idea, like y'all see him as, but he's like literally the ultimate dad. Sometimes he's like, I got a good idea. And then now that it's actually a thing, he don't need the money, but he might want a little royalties on the shirt. And so, but yeah, ship happens is a thing. Go get you a shirt if you've not gotten a shirt. You kind of alluded to some stuff, but what have you learned personally or collectively from this year?
I just learned that, adversity is always going to hit. And, I think it really spoke to me when, we had lost that third game to Pitt. And,
right.
I put a lot of it on me because I had a couple plays that I missed that, I really thought could have changed the outcome of the game. And, at that point, it had really just hit me like, how are you going to respond? Because adversity is always going to come to your front door. But I think what really, defines you is how you respond to it as a group as well. And I think this football team has done a great job of that, with all the adversity we've faced with injuries, losing a couple close games, even winning a couple close games that
right.
could have gone the other way. It's just like, what are you going to do the next week? Are you going to focus on that week and make it the most important game of the season? Because, that's the one that you're facing right now. So you're really just how you respond to adversity because, it's going to happen. So you're just, what are you going to do about it?
What are you most excited about for the future? Like obviously this year's coming to a head. We want to finish strong. When you think about like the rest of your career at Clemson, what do you see? What are you thinking about?
Yeah, I really, when I think into the future, I can really just go straight to January when we start back, and all those summer workouts, lifting heavy weights, running those wind sprints you were talking about, and I just want to be a leader for this football team, more so than I am now, and be able to really just elevate the people around me, and kind of make this program what it has been in the past. And that's the funny thing that you said, we're built on just such a great foundation. We've got such great people here. That I think that our future is going to be so bright. I think national championships are definitely,
100%.
In the lens. And people don't realize that, people think we're on a downfall. Yeah. And, they don't know, and you really can't explain it to them. So I just really look forward to the grind and, just trying to lead the people around me, rise them up, and just being successful with them. Winning a couple national championships, ACC championships. I mean, just everything, man. Just winning. Like Coach Swinney says, the fun is in the winning. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, so it's been good to have my boy on, Will Shipley, one of my really good friends, my little brother. Been one of my favorite little interview podcast parts since we started this whole thing. So glad to have you on, bro. This is your time. Sign off to the people of the Players Club. Anything you got to say?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'd just like to say thank you, and to the Players Club for having me on. It's been an honor, and for you, D. Rencher, I just like to say thank you, bro. I'm so glad that God has crossed our paths, and I look forward to growing our relationship. Can't wait to be at your wedding.
Come
next
on,
year. That's gonna be a great time. But just all the fans out there, everybody, just be looking forward to big things in the future, especially this weekend against Wake Forest. We got a big one. We got to have that big support out there, and hopefully everybody can gather at the Paul and we can have a good time.
For sure. Glad to have you on, bro. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Just want to say appreciate my guy Will Shipley for coming on. And as you guys can see, you can see why he's so likable. He's going to be really successful, already is successful, and is going to have such a bright future ahead of him. The man, really glad God crossed our paths. Got a lot of love for that kid. But now we're getting into the Q&A, one of my favorite parts of the show, where you guys send in questions and I answer them. And I will just say, guys, whenever you see these out on social media, if you're watching the show, ask me a question. Or if you're on Facebook or something, maybe just DM me on another platform. Facebook's kind of, whatever. But I know you guys do show support. But I would just say, every week we we ask for questions. So just send in questions, any questions you have for me. This is our time. We get to answer them. But we got 3 right now. We're going to get right into them. My guy, Mike Bremer, says, for you at this point this season, what are your emotional high and low points? And so off the top of my head, I think every loss has been a low point, but I think the Pittsburgh loss hurt the worst. Just because like that was kind of like where we were no longer in control of our destiny in our conference. Because up until that point, like we lost to Georgia, we lost to NC State, and we had a chance if we won out, had no more losses, we were in full control of our destiny. We could win out and make it to the AC championship. But after the Pittsburgh loss, because it's kind of where we are now. Hopefully we win out. But we have to have a lot more of other people kind of help us out and try to see how the dominoes fall. And it's not really it's not what we're used to at Clemson. Usually we're in control of our destiny and we just we win every game. We know we're going to play in Charlotte. But this year, because of the Pittsburgh game, we got to beat Wake this weekend, and then we kind of need some other things with NC State and Wake for the rest of the season to kind of play out in our favor, banking on the fact we win this weekend. So I would say that was a low moment because we all knew that as a staff, as a team. That was like, man, we definitely missed out on an opportunity. Then the high moment, I would say, probably as a team, the Louisville game. By far the hypest locker room experience we've had this year. Just because it was a big win on the road and everybody was turned. For me personally, this past weekend, I got to play 51 snaps. I haven't played 51 snaps ever at Clemson. And I graded out a winner. And I played pretty well. I was 48 to 51, if you know what that means. Like I got 48 pluses at 3 minuses. I kind of forgot some routes, whatever. It happens. But I played 51 snaps. And people could say, oh, it's against UConn. But for me, it's like, I played 51 snaps in the Clemson uniform. Okay, never take that away from me. And I played pretty well. So that's definitely a high moment for me this year. So that's my high and low moment. Appreciate you, Mike. All right, second question goes to Miss Diane. She says, how does the program at Clemson prepare you for life after football? And I would just say in every way, especially this season, I think I've been a part of some incredible high moments, which I think hopefully I'll have a lot more high moments to come in my life. I think the best is yet to come. And so just learning how to win and think the right way. I think that's the biggest thing is learn how to think the right way and believe the right thoughts because your thoughts lead to your actions and your actions lead to your destiny. It's kind of like the things we talk about a lot at Clemson. And so I would say just learn how to win, learn how to handle adversity, especially this year, and then learn how to dream big and just kind of put the work in and day out and be a part of something special as a team. So I would say prepare me in every facet. Our player development, I've been on plenty of internships. I think Clemson does it better than anybody. I got so much real world experience out there in the workforce. Been a part of NIL, and they've helped me leave. Was a nice change in my pocket because they helped me build a good brand since I've been at Clemson. And so I would just say in every way, I think I'm prepared as a man to go out here and continue to win in life. I don't think it's going to be, I don't see my life at all dropping off, which I think sadly a lot of people do after college football. These are the best days of their life. I think these are really good days of my life, but I only see my life getting bigger, better, and brighter. And I would give a lot of praise and thank yous to the people, the Clemson program, because they've helped me become the man I am. And they taught me how to win. And I feel like I'm going to take that with me whatever I do in life, whether that's football, continuing that, or whatever I'm doing. So that's kind of up in the air to be determined what the next chapter is going to look like for me. But I'm sure I'm going to win, learn how to I'm going to know how to respond the right way. I'm going to know how to handle adversity. And I'm going to keep dreaming big because I've seen those things work out and play out really well for myself at Clemson. And I owe a lot of that to the Clemson program. All right, last question, you guys, from Patty Smith. How do players balance academics with football practice, with weight training, with meetings, with travel and games, and then trying to enjoy the college experience? And I would say, hey, you just kind of learn as you go. You kind of figure it out, and you learn by failing. You learn by just being frustrated and procrastinating and all those good things. You just learn as you go. And I say for me, like I said, I think I learned a lot more through failure than I did from getting it right. I think I got tired of like being stressed out. So I was like, I'm gonna learn how to manage my time better. And I wanted to make good grades and all those good things. So I think you really try to prioritize what matters most, but really you try to find some harmony. Like I don't think balance is like what I go after. I feel like there's different things in different seasons or different weeks or different days, different moments, whatever. Or I feel like I got to do a little more of this because I feel like that's what's right in the moment, whether it's football
and do a little more school. And sometimes on the weekends or anything like that, I feel like I need to just go enjoy college and live life and have fun with my friends and do whatever. Because that's like, I only get this time in my life only once. So I think just kind of realizing, having awareness of what do I need to do right now in this moment to maximize this time. And sometimes it looks different in every day, every week, every season. But I would say it's not easy. You definitely got to be intentional about it, because if not, I feel like you'll regret somewhere in that piece of the pie. Like you said, like you might regret some things you didn't do in football, some things you didn't do in school, some things you didn't do socially or spiritually. And so you really just try to, you try to make it work. And I feel like I've done a decent job of it. Been there for 6 years. I'm still standing and doing okay. But it is like you kind of learn as you go. And it's like always a work in progress type thing. But the biggest thing, I just got to make sure I enjoy college. Shout out to my boy Rook. If he might be watching the pod. But he's big on telling the guys, hey, bro, you're going to get old one day. We're not going to be here no much longer. Guys going to the league, guys are graduating, going off and working. Enjoy college. That's always the thing he tells everybody on the team. And look, it's influenced the way I think. I got this moment left for a couple more weeks. And for me, I'm just trying to enjoy college. So, yeah, that's how I balance it all. Make the most of it and enjoy college. Yeah, thank you guys for asking questions. And like I said, we'll do it every week. Get the questions in, send them through any and every platform. We'd love to get more of you guys' questions sent in so I can answer them and we can engage. So Q&A, that's a wrap. Thank you guys. But yeah, that's been episode 11 here at the Players Club. I want to give a big shout out to my boy, Will Shipley again. Like I said, that's probably one of my favorite interviews. You can see why he is the person he is. He's going to be the person he will be in the future. Great dude, great story, and more to come. And a big weekend for us coming up against Wake Forest. They're ranked top 10. And so in the Valley, my last game in the Valley, senior day, going to be all the emotions. And I'm really excited. I think it's all culminating for one big moment. Our fans, for whatever reason, have finally been unleashed. That they can storm the field if we so happen to win this game. So this will be no better way to go out to kind of salvage this season, finish on a strong note at home, continue the win streak, and get a big dub and have all our fans rush the field. So I'll let you know how that goes next week. And so, guys, here we are closing episode 11 here at the Players Club. I just want to say thank you guys for always sharing, tuning in, listening, taking your time to just support this podcast that I got going on. And like I said, this is my baby, and we're growing. And each week I tell you guys, I need you guys to help me get this thing growing. If you like the content, you like the show, hey, share it. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Anything you see out there, just like, I would love to engage. So like it, comment on it. We'll definitely respond. And follow us on every platform. We're on every platform now. We just got on TikTok, got the TikTok rolling. On Instagram, we're on Twitter. And Facebook is in the works. Really just my Facebook. Some of you guys just will watch things I send out. And so thank you for your support. We definitely need to keep growing. And last thing on subscribers, we're on the road to 1,000. So we're getting closer each week. So if you haven't subscribed, go subscribe. So yeah, guys, thank you. Greatly appreciate everything. This has been episode 11 here at the Players Club, a podcast by the players for the people. Appreciate you guys for listening. See you next week.